Hey, shalom, shalom. Kahalayim la, Yahweh, Bashmi Awashab, Bashem HaRachakodash, Wa Mashana Kabadim Zakwanyan Shoya Sha'ala, Wa Shalom, Wa Chasalaha Bachaya Shalom. Alright, so in the Hebrew, all praise to the Most High, Bashmi Awashab. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Israel, who are the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and mercy to the elect. Alright, this is Sirach, chapter 1, and we're going to start at verse 30. It says, Exalt not thyself, lest thou fall, and bring dishonor upon thy soul, and so God discover thy secrets, and cast thee down in the midst of the congregation, because thou camest not in the truth to the fear of the Lord, but thy heart is full of deceit. You see? So don't exalt yourself in your thought, or in your speech and conduct, because pride is leaven, is going to make you to where you're dishonored amongst the whole congregation, and chiefly with the Lord. You see, the Lord doesn't like pride, all right? And not coming in the fear of the Lord, the Lord's going to humble you, So that's why we got to take the low. And that's the title of the lesson, take the low. All right. So I got a couple precepts going to Romans chapter 12 and Romans 12. Damn, slop. Romans 12 and verse 3. All right, it says, For I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think, but to think soberly, according as the Most High hath dealt to every man the measure of faith. You see? So we shouldn't think of ourselves as being to a great extent or extraordinarily. We got to think soberly, being honest in our examination of ourselves. All right. And nobody is exempt from checking themselves, because, we got to make sure that we come in the right spirit. All right. Because the Lord, again, he's dealing with the meek. All right. And it's that shows humility when you checking yourself, because we don't have the answers to everything. We putting on the body of Hamashiach. We're trying our best to put on the body of Hamashiach, so we got to check ourselves. When the Lord was on the scene, he came as he didn't come in as as he's going to come when he comes back to establish his kingdom on this earth. He came lowly. All right. All right, going to my next precept. Sirach 3 and 18. Ecclesiasticus chapter 3 and verse 18. And Salakia for the navigation. I usually don't use this app. I use the other one, so just bear with me. This is Sirach 3 and 18. It reads, The greater thou art, the more the greater thou art, the more humble thyself, and thou shalt find favor before the Lord. You see, the greater you are, the more you got to humble yourself, because that status can make you feel like you someone, but that can appeal to the flesh. That's why we got to be humble. And then on the same token, those that are going to have high status with the Lord are going to be those that humble themselves, again, because the Lord is honored in the lowly. You see. And I want to grab 1 Corinthians 8 and verse 1. It says, Now as touching things offered unto idols, we know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffeth up, but charity edifieth, you see. And we all have the knowledge of the truth, but that knowledge can make one in the flesh feel like he is on a level, And that's why we have to truly we gotta stay in that state of humility, and love the brotherhood, because that's what it's truly about. First and foremost, exalting the name of the Lord, bringing out his word and edifying the body, you see, and loving the brotherhood, That brings me to my next precept. This is Sirach chapter 10 and verse 9. All right. Sirach 10 and 9. It says, Why is earth and ashes proud? There is not a more wicked thing than a covetous man, for such an one setteth his own soul to sale, because while he liveth he casteth away his bowels. You see? And why is the earth and ashes proud? You see, we're men. We're made from the earth. Pride wasn't made for man. You see, so we don't have anything to gloat about or to boast about. You see, because technically we all an unclean thing to the Lord. You know, and that pride is going to get someone destroyed. You see, pride is going to get us destroyed. You know, that's why we got to purge off that old man, that leaven. All right. And my next precept was Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 23. Proverbs 29 and 23. It says, it's a lot. Try some water first. Proverbs 29 and 23. A man's pride shall bring him low, but honor shall uphold the humble in spirit. You see? And again, pride is going to get you destroyed, you know. It's going to bring a man low. If you read Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 33 and 34, it said that the Lord was going to bring down the haughtiness of the terrible. You know, he's basically going to humble those that are prideful. You see, roughly paraphrasing. So if you're walking around here with great pride, you know, the Lord is going to greatly humble you. You know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. So, all right. Going to Sirach chapter 6 and verse 2. It says, extol not thyself in extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart, that thy soul be not torn in pieces as a bull string alone. You see, so that word extol goes into exalt. You see, so don't exalt yourself in the counsel of your heart. Again, because the mind we got in the previous scriptures. You know, don't exalt yourself in your own mind. You know, don't think of yourself too highly than what you are. You know, we're vessels. You know, and we gotta keep ourselves at that level. You know, because again, technically we all is an unclean thing, and at the same time, verse 2: extol not thyself extol not thyself in the counsel of thine own heart. You see, and we don't want to do that because, in Jeremiah it says that the mind is desperately wicked. Who could know it? You know, the Lord is the one that tries the reins of the heart. He looks at the inner man. He knows your thoughts. You see, we shouldn't be extolling ourselves in our thoughts. You know, we got to constantly remind ourselves to take the low. You know. And that's a spirit too, because that notification popped up. It said like 42 people just passed or whatever, or just died as judgment. Those were some prideful individuals, you know. All right, the next precept. This is Galatians chapter 6 and verse 9. It says, and let us not be weary in well doing. You see, that well doing goes into keeping yourself humble. You know, it says, for in due season we shall reap if we faint not. You see, if we continue in the works, you know, if we don't faint, you know, because it's a lot of men that fall out from pride. You know, if we hold on to the faith, you know, the humility, then we're going to reap the benefits of the work in due season, you know. All right, and this is Proverbs 15 and verse 33. It says, the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom. So the fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. You see, the fear of the Lord instructs you to do the things that he hates. Instructs you to do the thing, to not do the things that he hates, you know. Because if you're wise, you're not going to do the things that the Lord doesn't like. All right. So you wouldn't be, so you don't get judged. All right. And before we get that, before we get the honor, our brought desire we be those men. We got to be, we have to be humble to get that honor. All right. We're going to get Proverbs chapter 18, verse 12. It says, before destruction, the heart of man is haughty, and before honor is humility. All right. Before destruction, the heart of man is haughty. Look at Esau. You see, he started his kingdoms from wickedness, but look at him now. He's still the same wicked individual. He's still doing them same wicked deeds. But the Lord had it said in the end days that knowledge will be increased. You see, so the pride of his heart has deceived him, because the Lord has made it to where on the left hand side, this devil has gotten the technology to build these different things. So he feel like he on the level, and he's haughty. All right, but what comes after that haughtiness? You get destroyed. Before destruction, the heart of man, being his mind, is haughty, and before honor is humility. All right, so we got to go through that humility. All right, and along with that humility is going to come patience, which is long suffering. So a lot of times, we got to take the low, because as I'm gonna get through the spirit, the Lord is trying us. All right, the Lord is trying us, because you want to know what someone is made of. You want to know that you're getting the best bang for your buck, so to speak, by seeing what by taking someone through the ringer. All right. But just the point, verse 12, and before honor is humility. All right, because before we can get to that honor, before we can get to the kingdom, we got to be humble. All right. And let me get Sirach chapter 2. Sirach chapter 2. We're going to Sirach chapter 2 and verse 4. All right. Well, no, we're going to start at verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. You see, so when you come to serve the Lord, you got to prepare to be tried. You got to prepare to be placed into that fire, because either you're going to be put into that fire. Well, specifically with this, we got to prepare ourselves to be put into that fire, so we can be tried as that gold and that silver. All right. Verse 2, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. You see, so we got to set our heart right, our mind, gird up the loins of your mind, all right, with these scriptures, because it say wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. So being rooted in this truth is how we're going to set our heart aright and constantly endure. All right. Make not haste in a time of trouble. What comes with constantly enduring is going to be that faith. The faith and the patience. All right, constantly endure, long suffering. You see, because when you're enduring something, that means you're going through something. All right. It says, cleave unto him and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. You see, so we can be increased at the last end. All right, that's taking the low, cleaving to the Lord, and knowing that we're going to be going through some things. All right, in that temptation. All right, so that at the end, the light at the end of the tunnel, so that we can be increased at the end of that tunnel, which is the kingdom. Verse 4, whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a lower state. You see, so whatever is thrown our way, we got to take cheerfully, because it say that those that are chastised by the Lord, he's dealing with them. He loves them. You see, so we got to take it cheerfully because we know that the Lord is dealing with us. All right. It says, and be patient. You see, so long suffer when thou art changed to a lower state. All right. Verse 5, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. You see, so gold is tried in the fire. You see, so the elect is going to be tried in that fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. And adversity goes into adverseness. So that means something that's coming against you, obstacles, straits. You see, that straight gate. For wide is the gate and narrow is the way. You see, talking about that straight gate, but along that straight gate, we gotta maintain humility. You see, and that word humility goes into humiliation. So a lot of times we gotta take the low. You see, and where do you get the examples of taking the low? In the scriptures. All right. Verse 6, believe in him and he will help thee, order thy way aright. So you gotta first believe in the scriptures. You gotta believe on the Lord. Order thy way aright and trust in him. All right. Yea, that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy. You see, we gotta wait. We can't act on our own. All right. We gotta wait for the Lord. Let's say, and make not haste in the time of trouble. You see, because we wouldn't make haste because we waiting on the Lord. All right, and go not aside lest ye fall. You see, you don't want to go aside. And it say, remember in the scripture, it say that he that goes up another way is the same as a thief and a robber. You see, because the true men of the Lord is going to be waiting on the Lord. We can't go aside, because if someone like that in that spirit, they're going to fall. Those that don't repent from doing that, they're going to fall. All right. Verse 8, yea, that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. You see, and going back up to this one right here, it says that thou, verse 3, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end. You see, so your reward is not going to fail, if you're fearing on the Lord and believing in him and trusting in him. All right. And his word says to be humble, so that's what we got to be in the spirit of humility so that we can be increased at the last end. All right. And a good example of this we're going to get is Acts chapter 14. In verse 19, it says, and there came thither certain Jews from Antioch and Iconium, who persuaded the people, and having stoned Paul, drew him out of the city, supposing he had been dead. So they stoned Paul. Verse 20, howbeit, as the disciples stood round about him, he rose and came into the city, and the next day he departed from Barnabas to Derbe. And when they had preached the gospel to that city, had taught many, they returned again to Lystra and to Iconium and Antioch. Verse 22, confirming the souls of the disciples and exhorting them to continue in the faith, and that we must through much tribulation enter into the kingdom of the Most High. So through much tribulation, the elect is going to enter into the kingdom of the Most High. It's not going to be a little bit, said through much tribulation. You see, and that's why through the Spirit, Paul was able to continue, because he knew that he had to take the low. You see, he got chastised for preaching the name of the Lord. And that was an act of humility on his behalf, because he kept pushing. But I got a few more precepts and I'm gonna close it out. We're going to Psalms chapter 51. Psalms 51 and verse 17. It says the sacrifices of God are a broken heart. So like a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, thou wilt not despise. You see, so he's looking for that contrite heart. All right, and that word contrite goes into let me see. The word contrite goes into let me see. Contrite. This word contrite goes into crushed, be contrite, be broken, collapse, crushed down to pieces. So, yeah, and this is us. You see, these are those that this is the elect. They're gonna be of that contrite spirit, that broken spirit. They know that they need a mediator. We know that we need a mediator. You see, but those that are prideful, those that's not taking the Lord, they're gonna try to do it on their own. They're gonna try to go up some other way. You see, but the correct spirit to be in is knowing that you need a mediator, and having that spirit of humility, because we're following the footsteps of Hamashiach. He took the low, so we gotta take the low. You see, we need that. We need the mediator. You see. But let's keep going. This is First Peter 5 and verse 6. It says, humble yourselves therefore under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. You see, so humble yourselves. Humble yourself. Don't walk with a stretched forth neck. Repent. We gotta acknowledge our offense, because we did go off. That's humility. Casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. You see, and the Lord cares for us. He opened up our eyes. He gave us his truth. He showed that grace and the mercy. Verse 8. Be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary the devil, as a roaring lion walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. You see, you got to humble yourself, because if you're walking around prideful, you see, the devil, he can use that, seeing that you're walking around in great pride. He can use that against you and potentially devour you, if that leaven isn't purged out. Verse 9. It says, whom resist steadfast in the faith. You got to resist the devil steadfast, so firmly in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplishing your brethren that are in the world. All right. So we're all going through it. All right, verse 10. But the God of all grace, who hath called us into his eternal glory by Hamashiach Yahushua, after that ye have suffered a while, you see, going into that patience, make you perfect, because suffering, going through that fire, that adversity is going to make you into that gold. It says, make you perfect, establish, strengthen, settle you. You see, and let's go into that word settle. This word settle. Let's see. To lay the foundation, to found, to make stable, ground, consolidate. Consolidate, to lay a basis, erect. All right. So, but the point I want to get from settle was the Lord is going to settle us. He's going to establish us, set firmly. He's going to put us in our place. But where I was going with that was, he going to give us that rest. He's going to going back to that verse after I get this definition again. To make stable. Yeah, to make stable, because on this side we got to scratch and claw going into the curses for damn near, everything that we have, because we went off. You see, we gotta fight for everything. We're not stable on this side, but he's gonna make us stable in the kingdom. Because it says, but the God of all grace, who hath called us unto his eternal glory by Hamashiach Yahushua, after that ye have suffered a while, going into the straight gate, make you perfect, from that being tried in that gold, establish, strengthen, settle you. You see, we'll be settled in the kingdom. We'll have abundance in the kingdom. Going into Sirach, 2nd Ezra 8 and 52. We'll finally get that rest. All right. But go to my next precept. This is Psalm chapter 37 and verse 11. It says, but the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. You see, we're going to have the abundance of peace in the kingdom, and the meek is going to inherit the earth, going into the elect. The elect is going to be co-heirs, joint heirs with Hamashiach Yahushua. The first go around. All right. We're going to have that abundance. We're going to have all the resources that we need, Abaratazal, we continue on the path. All right, this is my next precept. This is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 5. All right. It reads, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth." So it's being reiterated. All right, because the Lord is letting us know we gotta be meek. We gotta be humble. That's what that word meek goes into. Meek, mildness of disposition, gentleness of spirit, humble. You see, humility. All right. Let's get Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 2. When pride cometh, then shame cometh. Then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. I'll read it again. When pride cometh, then cometh shame, but with the lowly is wisdom. Proverbs 11 and 2. You see, when pride comes, then shame is going to follow. All right. So that shame is going to can go into that man falling away. All right. And humility is going to lead to wisdom. All right. Which in turn, that wisdom is going to lead to salvation. You see. All right. And my next precept is 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 23. But every man in his own order, Hamashiach, the first fruits, afterward, they that are Hamashiachs at his coming. You see? Read it again. 1 Corinthians 15 and 23. But every man in his own order, Hamashiach, the first fruits, afterward, they are Hamashiachs at his coming. All right. And Salak, I meant to say the next precept. I didn't mean to say my precept, but continuing on. All right, there's just a point of this verse, it's an order. It's going to be Hamashiach, then King David, then the 12, then the rest of the 144,000, and the 1/3. All right, so we don't need to seek preeminence. Our goal, we need to keep our eyes on salvation, and what's going to lead to that salvation is the meekness. All right. But just the point I wanted to get from that was it's an order in this thing, and that's why we got to keep ourselves humble. All right. Because seeking preeminence isn't gonna show that humility. We got to be hoping to be delivered. All right. This is Matthew chapter 23 and verse 12. It says, "And whosoever shall exalt himself shall be abased, and he that shall humble himself shall be exalted." All right. So those that in their mind is exalting themselves, because the Lord tries the minds and the reins. So they exalt themselves. Those that put themselves out, in their thoughts or their actions, they're going to be abased. All right. So we shouldn't put ourselves up on a pedestal, living lavishly, dignifying ourselves, So we gotta constantly keep ourselves in that humble state. All right. So we gotta check ourselves and take the rebuke from brothers around us. You see. Well, Abaratazal, that was edifying. Call her Layim La Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shah Bahashim Rakakadash. Hey, Shalom.